Oh, to be young again. Actually, you know what? You're only as old as you feel, and I must say I feel pretty young, so that's a good thing. But oh, to see young again at third base. That may be more appropriate for today's discussion on the DLLS Rangers podcast. Oh, it is a day of infield talk on the DLLS Rangers podcast, as we will talk about Josh Jung and we will talk to Sebastian Walcott. That's coming up in the second segment of the show as we welcome you into the DLLS Sports Studios. Welcome to the DLLS Rangers podcast. John Radigan here. Jeff Wilson still out there enjoying fun in the sun in Arizona. At least we have sun today, but still not much warmth, Jeff. We are all jealous, and I don't want you to tell us too much about how good the weather is, lest we'll get people in the chat saying, shut up. But it looks like it's been nice out there.
No complaints. We'll just leave it at that. No complaints.
Beautiful, beautiful. So another non-busy day. I mean, they're all busy for the players and even for the media, but non-eventful, I guess, is a way to describe it, which is really a good thing. And we were talking just before we went on. Josh Jung is a guy we have not talked about yet much during this spring, but that is one of those internal improvements that can make a huge difference from 2024 to 2025.
It's a very good thing that we haven't talked about Josh Jung yet, because we talked about him on the very first day we was here last year because he hurt himself. He tore his calf muscle and basically missed all of spring training. So not having any Josh Jung news is good news. He was out there today. Today was kind of a short day. The first game is tomorrow. So light work. No live batting practice today. I think there were some sides thrown. Some guys working on mechanics and things like that. But other than just batting practice and some infield drills, it was a pretty darn quiet day. A couple of things on the news front, I guess. Robert Garcia is going to throw at least one more bullpen session before being considered for a game. And then left-hander Cole Drake, who had the breakthrough year last year in the farm system, he has some back stiffness. So the Rangers are going to lay off him for the weekend, but they're not too concerned about it. Other than that, they're looking good. Buchanan, the pitcher who's been in overseas not the last 8 seasons, but he was overseas for 8 seasons before returning to the States last year. He sprained his ankle on Sunday, and he was on the mound testing it out today. So everything, again, on the medical front couldn't be much better.
Yeah, so we're seeing some of the things in the chat that the stream is a little weak, and we're hoping and doing everything we can over here to make it better. And you did break up a little bit there on the Robert Garcia news, Jeff. Did you say he has to throw one more time, sort of a empty bullpen before he throws a live BP, or before he actually pitches in a game?
Yeah, I think they haven't fully determined that yet, what would be after the bullpen, but he may throw 2 bullpens and go to a game, but they're not worried about his schedule. That's the key takeaway.
Yeah, they haven't. He hasn't fallen too far behind, which is huge, because he did have that minor nerve issue in the throwing forearm, and he's a lefty, of course, so good to know that he is still on schedule, still on pace. Those of you just joining, and if you haven't seen the social media, stuff about it, we've got Sebastian Walcott joining us on the program here in the second segment of the show. It's really one of the best prospects in all of baseball, and certainly also in the Rangers organization. And Jeff, the thought with him, obviously he's probably not super far from being a big league player. So he's a shortstop. So what's the thought with Sebastian?
Yeah, and he's a big shortstop. We always talk about how big Corey Seager is. Well, I think Sebastian Walcott is bigger. And he's still only 18. He's got about 3 more weeks as an 18-year-old. And his father was 6'5" or 6'6", and his mother's a tall woman. So there's a chance that Sebastian Walcott can still grow. Now, will he grow out of shortstop? That seems to be what everybody thinks. Interesting. His arrival to the majors could coincide with Adolis Garcia's departure from the club, or at least Adolis Garcia's first shot at free agency. So everybody kind of points to right field. Well, maybe. I don't know how much Sebastian's played out there, but he's definitely athletic enough to do it. No question about it. He did play some third base last year, but Josh Jung, who we're going to talk about a little more, is firmly entrenched there when he's healthy. So you anticipate a position switch of some variety, but you just don't know which way yet. And there's always the possibility that Corey Seager could move off of shortstop. So we'll see what happens, but it's exciting to think about this guy. I mean, he's even caught the eye of Bruce Bochy. You just see a guy this young and this talented, and it's exciting.
Yeah, it's great. And we see it already in the chat. People so excited about him. The Texas Rangers insider says doesn't remember when he's been that excited about a Rangers prospect. So it'll be fun to talk to him, and that was sort of our teaser for that. But yes, the topic we wanted to continue to discuss today in this first segment is Josh Jung, who, of course, had that monstrous wrist injury last year, Jeff, in April. I've seen video and I've seen pictures. He clearly has protection for the wrist now, right?
Yeah, he's trying out all kinds of stuff, and he jokes often and has all off season about showing up in bubble wrap and all that stuff. You can't protect him, and I think the conversation went a bunch of different ways about him today. What effect is he going to have on the lineup? And he's a good fastball hitter, and everybody knows about their woes against fastballs last year. But these injuries that he's had outside of the calf injury in spring training are freakish things. So he's had a lot of injuries, but he's not. It's hard to call him injury prone just because these have been just outlandish things. And so the broken arm, and then they opened up, and it was even worse than they thought. So it was just a curse thing. Now, if he can get back, if the curse is gone, this guy's got a chance. You saw what he did when the times he was healthy in 23. He's got 25 to 35 homers in him. He's going to bat above 260, the 260 to 280 range. He needs to cut down his strikeouts. Okay, so does everybody, I guess, today. But he plays a good third base too. So. He's in a great mood. Maybe only Jacob deGrom is in a better mood, and so you hope that he's his bad luck is behind him, as Bruce Bochy put it today. You hope the bad luck is behind him, and if it is, if he's healthy, the Rangers are that much better.
Yeah, it's amazing too because when he first got to the big leagues. There was some concern about his ability to handle the hot corner, right? And gosh, he improved almost immediately. Like in that very first off season after his September call up, he came back and almost looked like a different player with the level of improvement that he went through in the off season.
Yeah, and he came. So let's see. I'm trying to remember. 21 was a broken foot, a hairline fracture in his foot. 22 was the labrum injury at a time when everybody thought he was going to win the job out of spring training. Um, and then he came back from that and kind of rushed it a little bit, I think, in the minors, and felt like he was pressing to get back. And so when he came up, he only batted 200, although he homered in his first at bat. So then the next spring, 23, healthy, and Bruce Bochy basically said, "This is your job. Don't worry about impressing at the plate. Work on defense." And it really, I think, set a tone. Was a good indication to Jung that he's not just an offensive player. That the Rangers really want him. They feel confident in the bat and want him to focus on picking the ball. And he makes some plays now. He will, he can dive over the line. He can dive to his left. You see the desire for sure. And I think he would have been a Gold Glove finalist in 23 had he not been injured. But he missed those, I don't know, 5 weeks in August and September with the broken thumb that needed to have surgery. And I think he just kind of fell out of mind because that's right about the time when the Gold Glove balloting goes around the coaches, and so he just might have been out of sight, out of mind situation there. But the Rangers have a solid player there. He just needs to be there.
Yeah, and you think about that early, that month, if you will, in September, when there was some thought, or maybe some real concern about the defense. Look, that labrum, and I talked to him about this then. I mean, he was trying to be as sort of normal as he could, but you've got to be somewhat afraid to do things like diving when you've already had
Sure.
a torn labrum.
Well, I mean, that's what, ultimately the labrum tore while he was lifting weights, but it was a accumulation of damage to that region from diving. A lot of it's from diving, and stretching out, and your weight landing on that arm and all of that joint taking the brunt of it. So yeah, but I came out that July, right out of the All-Star break, and it was hotter than hell here. And he was out there, working out, and sat down and talked. He said he had dived for balls, and that wasn't a concern. He just worked so hard to get back. This guy is a baseball rat. I mean, I guess you could say it about all of them, but he really is. He jokes that he's the only guy on the team who isn't married, and the other guys are telling him, "Hey, you need to start dating and stop worrying so much about your job." But that's it for him. It's baseball, and when he doesn't have baseball, he gets frustrated. But he has to keep his mind busy, so he might do VR stuff, take cooking classes, do something that keeps him going, because he misses baseball that much, and if he doesn't have it, he's gonna go crazy. So, just in talking to him a couple times this spring, this was really the first time he did a group session with us, and he's just dang happy, and that's kind of the tenor of my story that's going to be written here. I've at least written the lead, and it'll be on the website a little bit later. And hey, we were going to save this for later, John, but we might as well say it now. Come and Die Hard, man. $48. We have a spring training special that we're going to talk about later on.
Yeah, it's a great deal. There you see it, and we were all tweeting about it earlier as one of our bosses said, "Hey, let's make sure we get this out on social media platforms." And so we all did today. And it's just another reminder of what a great deal that is for you. So, and again, happy Josh Jung really can be something that makes all of us very happy, because watching him play can just inspire happiness among Rangers fans. Watching him excel inspires even more. So that's great. That's good information there. We don't want to get behind today, because we've got a big deal happening here in the second segment, as Sebastian Walcott will be joining us on the show here in just a few minutes. That's one of the things that's coming up on the DLLS Rangers podcast. First, though, I've been somewhat negligent in getting these babies back for their repair. I've told you before I was going to do it the Shady Rays. The only thing wrong with them is there's a little piece of rubber right there that's loose, and so it affects putting them on. So anyway. They work fine once I get them on. They're great. They're wonderful sunglasses. I love everything about them. And we know they have this warranty, so I feel like it's worth it to send them back in and see how it goes, because that way I can report to you. I can offer a testimonial as to how good it is. I expect it to be very easy. I am now officially working on this. I've been somewhat negligent in not pulling the trigger on doing it. But anyway, we'll keep you posted. We're going to get this done. Either way, you should get a pair of these. They're the favorite sunglasses I've ever had. Before kids, I was like buying the hundreds of dollars sunglasses. After kids, I scaled back on that a little bit. But these are every bit as good as any one of those. ShadyRays.com, 35% off polarized sunglasses if you use the code DLLS.
And before it's Sebastian Walcott time, John, you know what time it is?
Game time!
There you go. Guys, this is the app that they've really become a big friend of DLLS and the All City Network. It's a great app if you need tickets to anything, okay? Especially in our area. You can do TCU and SMU. You can do, obviously, the Big Four, as I like to call them. Rangers tickets will be regular season tickets. I'm sure will be on there when the regular season starts, if not before then. Maybe they are now. I haven't checked. But you know what? This is the app. I mean, all-in pricing. That's what it shows. And I think that's the biggest thing when you talk to people about when they buy tickets and they're like, oh, my God, and then the fees afterwards. Now, you know what you're getting into with Game Time. And if you use the code DLLS, you will get $20 off your first purchase. So download the Game Time app, DLLS, for $20 off that first purchase.
Yep, good idea. It looks like the feed has worked itself out. I believe the Prophet did something to enhance it as well. So we've got the stream working well, and we're anxiously anticipating the arrival of Sebastian Walcott, who is joining us now from Arizona as well. And it's awesome to have an opportunity to chat, Sebastian, with you. We appreciate you joining us. And so how's it been? How's Major League Camp been for you thus far?
It's been good. It's been a learning experience. Just learning from the older guys, just soaking up as much knowledge as I can, and I'm enjoying it so far. We start games tomorrow, so I'm really looking forward to it. But it's been a really fun experience so far.
Yeah, Sebastian, John hasn't been out yet, but you're right next to Marcus Simeon and Jake Berger, and then Josh Jung, and then you're two chairs away on the other side from Corey Seager. What are these veterans showing you or telling you while you're in your first big league camp?
Just telling me like what to do. Always be on time. Always work hard. Just the simple stuff. Just like because everybody's watching. There's always eyes on you. So just continuously working hard. Just doing what I do and just being me on the field. Don't try to cost anybody game. Just play how I play.
I remember 2 years ago when you came here for the first time or your first spring training, and we talked to you then. Um, that's only 2 years ago, but you have
Yeah.
changed a lot. You have learned a lot.
Uh,
What do you think the biggest thing you've learned about being a professional ball player is?
I would say the maturity. You have to be mature. You have to be mentally prepared every day. And I think from day one of being a pro to now it's been night and day. Mature wise and being mentally prepared for every day. It's definitely been a big step for me. I feel like I'm mentally locked in every day compared to 2 years ago, and I think I'm ready to attack the season mentally.
Hey, so
What
wait a
what
minute. Two years ago, Sebastian, did you even have a driver's license at that point?
no, no, I just got my driver's license this off season.
I figured that. That's amazing. Does it dawn on you as you look around and see, some of the guys have some real age on them, but does it dawn on you? Do you feel really young in that clubhouse?
Not really. Yeah, you see guys like when on the field, maybe you feel young because you don't have that power that like they do, like Adolis, Seager. Like you see those guys hit, like it's like, gee, he's really strong. But in the clubhouse, everybody's just the same. Everybody's having fun. Everybody's talking with each other. Cracking jokes. So I think the mindset is not really I feel young is like when I get onto the field, it's like you could definitely see the difference there. But in the club, it's not really.
So when I saw you in January, I thought you were taller. You're definitely bigger. What did you do in the off season to get your body ready for 2025?
I definitely got after it a little bit more this off season. Um, I ate more. I lifted heavy, and I just think being consistent with my meals, make sure I'm eating healthy food, and making sure I'm taking care of my body in the weight room and off the field were key. And I think everybody has seen the progress. Everybody said I've been looking good, so that's a good sign. But I think the main key is to maintain this during the season, make sure I'm not losing any strength, not losing any weight, and just being consistent with my workouts and my meals.
So I mean,
Sebastian,
you've
what have they
seen.
told you to expect for this year?
I haven't heard anything. They just want me to do my thing out there during spring training, but I haven't heard anything from them so far.
So last year you played some third base. Have they? Do you would you feel comfortable if they said, "Hey, go play some right field or some left field, or go play some first base"? I don't know. I know you want to play shortstop, and you're doing it, and you're still moving
Yeah.
great. But just I'm wondering if you've had any thoughts about other positions.
It doesn't really matter as long as I'm getting my at bats and helping the team any way I can. It doesn't really matter to me. It's a team sport, so if I have to play another position to get somebody else in the lineup and they can help the team win, then I'll do that. But as long as the team is benefiting from it and I'm helping myself and helping the team, I don't care where I play as long as I'm getting my at bats and producing for the team.
In the meantime, as you are at shortstop, you learn from a guy like Corey Seager. That's a pretty special guy to learn a position from, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Corey's a big guy, big shortstop. We're like 6'5" each, but he's a little bit bigger than me. But he's an awesome guy. Just watch him take ground balls, like watch how he moves, and because he's experienced, he's been playing shortstop his whole career. So learning from a guy like him is really special, and I could definitely learn a lot from him.
So last year you started off a little bit slow, as you've admitted, but you took off. Um, was it just getting comfortable, or was there a change that you made somewhere along the way?
It wasn't no physical change. It's more mental than anything. I think mentally, at the beginning of the season, I was just trying to do too much. Wasn't really playing my game. Was trying to do way too much at the plate, trying to hit like home runs, all that stuff. But I think like later on in the season, I try to keep my approach simple mentally and just trust myself. So I think it was just a confidence thing, and I think later on in the season, talking with family, talking with some coaches, just they're helping me get my mental straight, and I think I like you said, I took off, and I think it's more mental and physical than anything.
Despite
Were
that
you
slow
trying
start
to?
last year, Sebastian, you made the futures game, and you had another person from the organization in Emiliano Teodo as a pitcher on there. But what was that futures game like for you?
Oh, it was amazing. To be able to play in the home ballpark of the Rangers, it was awesome, and to be starting as well was amazing. I wasn't expecting to start, but seeing my name in the starting line, but it was definitely an honor, definitely a blessing. And playing defense behind Teodo was definitely amazing. Hopefully, we could do that for many years to come for the Rangers, and hopefully we could be a part of many championships together as well.
Hey, so yeah, you played the futures game. You were widely regarded as the Rangers' top prospect, or at least one of the top two with Kamar Rocker. Um, is that Do you have to block that out Was that maybe something you were trying to live up to last year?
I try to stay away from that type of stuff, especially during the season, because you can definitely get in your head a little bit. But mentally, I wasn't really focused on that. I was just trying to play my game. I was just focused on playing baseball and not really listening to the outside noise. So maybe during the off season a little bit, but not really during the season.
I would guess because you got a week in Frisco last year. I would guess that you're going back there. And we're big Carlos Cardoza fans. How much does Carlos as manager drive you guys and teach you guys?
I mean, Carlos is awesome. Like when I got there to in Double A, he was awesome. You see why Frisco is so good that year because the way Carlos manages games and how he manages himself during the game is it's awesome. Like pre-game stuff, he's making sure every guy's getting a work in, no matter if it's game 1 or game 130. He's making sure guys getting the work in. He's also a personal guy. He also checks in like how's the family doing, and when the coach is doing that, it's like you have a lot of respect for him. You got a lot of love for him as well. So, I mean, Carlos is amazing, and I'm looking forward to playing for him next year.
Hey, one of our viewers, Sebastian, has a good question. Are you working out with Adolis?
No, no. I'm not working out with Adele.
Yeah.
His workout's a little bit more intense for me. I can't keep up with him. He's a massive guy, so the way he lifts, I can't wait. I can't lift.
You too could have arms like that.
I wish. I wish. I wish.
Yeah.
Hey, sorry about the apparent construction going on below me. I hope nobody's ears are getting blown out like mine with this banging. So Sebastian, tomorrow is the first game. You're gonna be filling in once the starters leave. And just how excited are you to maybe get to face some of these like really good big league pitchers who come through the Cactus League?
I'm excited. I got a few big league games in last year, but I'm definitely excited to be a part of it this year. Looking forward to seeing the Orange, just see how it is in the big leagues, and just take mental notes. And when I do get my opportunity to play in the big leagues, I'm prepared for it, and I'm ready to produce.
So, Sebastian, what do you do? Because the days so far, anyway, at spring training, you're done fairly early. What else are you doing out there to occupy your time and to fill the days?
Mainly, I'm hanging out with my roommates or playing video games. Just or signing cards because you have a lot of cards coming in. But mainly, I'm just hanging out with my friends and playing video games.
So when you were on the show in September with John Moore and I, you said you were playing college football. Have you moved on from college
Yeah,
football, or are
nah.
you still playing
I'm
that?
I'm still playing college football. I love playing at Ohio State, so I can't get tired of Ohio State and their good offense and defense. So I'm still playing college football.
Yeah, my son had got it for Christmas, and he's created himself, and now he's created a juggernaut at TCU. So we may have to hook you two up and see what's going on. But he's
All
only
right.
12. He's only 12, Sebastian. I don't want a 12-year-old beating you.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. And by the way, Sebastian, I'm a Notre Dame guy. So, although I can't play
Oh.
video games, but man, you guys broke my heart this year.
I thought Ohio State was too much. I didn't expect Notre Dame to make it that far.
No,
I
I
thought it
didn't
was, I
either.
thought it was, but they were a really good team. They played their butts off, but Ohio State, that offense and defense is just too elite. So, but Notre Dame is definitely a team to watch next year for sure.
I'm also originally from Michigan, so don't hate me. Okay.
No, I have no hate for you. I have no hate for you.
All right, I appreciate that. Well, man, we appreciate you so much, and I haven't had a chance to meet you in person yet, but I'll get out there and I'll say hi, and and we really look forward to watching you wherever you are this year, and watching you exceed and excel at the big league level whenever that happens for you too, man.
I
Thanks for
appreciate
joining
that.
us.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
No problem, man. No problem.
Yeah. We appreciate it so much. All right. Sebastian Walcott joining us on the DLLS Rangers podcast. We've got more coming up, including more big numbers, big power ranking numbers. Your Texas Rangers are getting noticed. That's next on the DLLS Rangers podcast. First, though, it's time to talk about what? Ice Shaker. And Ice Shaker is a great product. You can take it to the gym. You can use this thing to mix up your energy drinks. Now, this particular one does not have the agitator, but they have them with the agitator that'll keep your energy drink all. But this is a Cowboy branded one, and you could just it's metal. It keeps your drink so cold and so fresh, and it stays that way forever. And you can get one of these for a relatively cheap price. These things are invented by the Gronkowski brothers. Well, I don't know if they invented them, but they certainly brought them to the market. And they're a really good product, and they're not that expensive. And you're always looking for something that's cool to take to the gym. Well, you can take your favorite team. You can get one of these with a Texas Rangers logo on it as well, or any other team that you want. So you go to iceshaker.com, use the code AllCity25. You get 25% off at Ice Shaker.
The folks down below me banging away on the metal. It sounds like a mixer that has one of those agitators that jerks around and all that stuff. They need an ice shaker down there. They could also use some Saturday Neon, because I believe Arizona and Arizona State are two of the nearly 50 college licensed teams that have branded with our friends at Saturday Neon. Saturday Neon signs, right? But not the traditional neon signs. These are LED neon signs, so they're more affordable, more durable, and they last, forever, like 100,000 hours. It's crazy. Very affordable too, and you can get one custom made. So if you have a man space, or if you just want something to put in your office, I don't care. Put it in your kitchen. You need to get Saturday Neon. So go to SaturdayNeon.com, use the code DLLS for 10% off.
Yeah, I got to be honest, Jeff. Because the speaker I'm hearing you through is over here. I thought that noise was coming from our office. It's invasive, though. We do hear it. That's for darn sure. So,
okay.
Anyway, fight through it. We got a couple more segments to go here, including more power ranking stuff that has come out, and there's a further breakdown of that F-War power ranking that we saw yesterday. The Dodgers and the Rangers are the only two teams that are in the top 10 in every category on that chart. And to be honest, when you look at this, Jeff, you see the Rangers are down there at 10 in both pitching categories. Starting pitching, I think that's too low. Bullpen, I wonder if that's too high. Now, obviously, those people that put this list together don't think it is, but only two teams have a ranking in the top 10 in each one of those categories. That's the Dodgers and your Texas Rangers. So, I don't know. Maybe the bullpen's better than we think. Maybe we're overemphasizing, the concern or whatever you'd call it, on the lack of a closer at this point.
Maybe I've switched to my earbuds. Hopefully that.
Oh yeah, you're louder too. Yeah, that's good.
Oh, perfect. Sorry, Elijah, for the change mid-flight, but I got to adjust. It's like a baseball player. You got to adjust during at bats. I just had to make an adjustment. I don't think anybody should think that the relievers the Rangers acquired aren't good. They're definitely good. They have characteristics, traits that teams covet. They weren't the only. It's not like the Rangers were the only team after the guys that they acquired. So they're good relievers. The lack of a defined closer probably bothers a lot of people, like it probably does you and me, John. And then you don't know what you're going to do with those two other spots. It could be like I wrote about the other day when we were talking about Jack Leiter and then discussing that yesterday. It could be two long guys, maybe Dane Dunning, whose birthday is today, and Jack Leiter there, or maybe it's Dunning and like a guy like Mark Church. So a young guy who there's not a lot of information on. But if Leiter is in there and you're going off of his MLB statistics, well, your bullpen rating's probably not going to be very good, or not as good as you think it could be. But you know, Chris Martin's a heck of a reliever. I know Luke Jackson didn't have a great year last year, but if you look at his second half numbers, especially his strikeout rate against well overall, but also against right-handed hitters, that's why the Rangers targeted him. So they're looking at guys and trying to figure out how they're going to mix and match this thing. Um, but yeah, to be 10th. Maybe that is a little high. I think the starting thing is definitely low. I don't know if they're factoring in any usage concerns for Jacob deGrom or not, or Tyler Mahle. But it is interesting though. There's 30 teams in the big leagues, and only two of them are in the top 10. And I think that no matter how you look at it, whether it's through formulas and statistics like Fangraphs likes to do, or whether it's just stuff like this is who they signed, this is these are the more traditional stats, the upgrades they made in the offseason. So there's reason to think that the Rangers are going to be a top 10 club, one of the top five in the American League, and maybe the front runners for the American League West.
Yeah, and in fact, as we go to another power ranking, and this is the first official power rankings from MLB, they've got the Rangers as the second best team in the American League, power ranking wise, behind only the Boston Red Sox. That one surprised me a little bit, and the Red Sox find themselves ahead of the Orioles and the Yankees in the American League East, and only the Orioles cracked the top 10. It's mostly, obviously, in that top 10, it's mostly National League teams. That's where apparently MLB thinks anyway that all the power is this year. And of course, the Dodgers are at number 1. But very interesting to see the Rangers in there at 5 on that list, and behind only the Red Sox, Jeff.
Well, I mean, the Red Sox really made a big addition here just the other day. You look at what they've done with their pitching. They're getting guys back from injury this year. They added Walker Buehler. They did lose two guys in their bullpen, Chris Martin being one of them. So there's some things to maybe be wary of there. But the Red Sox have some really good players. They have Rafael Devers, who, regardless of where he plays defensively, he can hit. Duran, who's the All-Star MVP, heck of an outfielder. We know what Bregman can do. So there's reason to think that this could be a good offensive club in Boston. I don't know that the Yankees. They lost Juan Soto, but they still have Aaron Judge. They picked up Cody Bellinger, who's not a slouch. They have some questions, I guess, around the infield after losing Gleyber Torres, and I believe Anthony Rizzo's gone now. So maybe is Jason Dominguez the prospect going to be a really really good player for them? So there's some questions there, but you still have Garrett Cole. You're good 6 deep in the rotation if with adding Max Fried, and then pushing Marcus Stroman possibly out of the rotation. So if I'm the Rangers though, I like where I'm at. I didn't see the Mariners get a lot better this year. I didn't see the Astros get noticeably better. In fact, I think they got worse. So if you're the Rangers, you got to feel good about things, and I think again they fit into the top third, the top even less than a third of
and
quarter, if you want, of MLB teams.
Yeah, exactly, and it's obviously something that any of these sort of early rankings are they're just rankings, right? You still got to get out there on the field and you got to do it, but it's kind of fun to look at these at this time of the year and just figure out where do we stand, and do we is this team sort of as good as everybody thinks? One of the things we talked about in the description of the show today is just that the Rangers are trying to prove that 2024 was the aberration, right? That 2023 is more like what this team is going to look like going forward.
Josh Jung mentioned that today.
Did he?
They want to show that last year was the fluke and that they aren't a fluky World Series team. They think that they're in a position to do this for a while, and on paper they are. If your rotation includes a healthy Jacob deGrom, you got to like your chances. If you have Corey Seager and Marcus Semien to finish second, third in the MVP vote 2 years ago, you got to feel pretty darn good about it. So that's just four guys. Nathan Eovaldi. Did I mention him? I don't know if I did, but anyway, there's a lot more. It's not just a deep team; it's quality depth. Again, you look at that lineup, and I think there was a projected one I saw the other day. I mentioned yesterday that has Jake Berger batting seventh. If you have a guy popping 30 homers, batting seventh, you're in pretty good shape, I think.
Yeah.
So, and that there's opportunities for improvement that have to happen, as you mentioned, John. Young being one of them, although his availability is just probably his biggest deal. Garcia has to be better. Semien has to be better. And then what are you going to get? What are you going to get at center field? Is Evan Carter going to be the everyday player, and is he going to be a good player? So those are the questions. But really, every team probably has questions. Even the great Dodgers have some. They could upgrade at a couple positions.
Yeah, it's funny too when you think about that Rangers starting pitching rank being 10th. And you mentioned it when we talked about that one a little bit, but you wonder. If Jacob deGrom does make his 30 that he hopes to, or 25, or even 20 starts, you feel like this pitching staff is going to be a heck of a lot better than even 10th. And top 10 is good, but it's going to be better than 10th in baseball.
Yeah, I yelled yesterday when DeGrom was throwing his side. I've done this a couple times during my time here. I've thrown out 25 starts. Is a 25 a good number? And everyone's like, yeah, that's the good number. Skip them every fourth time through the rotation. 170 innings might be where they, kind of what they're hoping for the regular season. So 25 starts. If you stick to his short, small sample with the Rangers at least winning percentage, it's 778. I mean so you're winning 78% of the time. That's 80%. 80% of 25 is 20. So you're going 20 and 5 in the games he starts. And gosh, that's pretty good. That gives you a leg up in a lot of spots, and that doesn't include DeGrom, Eovaldi, Malley, Gray Bradford, maybe some Rocker, maybe some Leiter in there. So there's reason to be optimistic about the rotation.
Yeah, and rightly so. And you didn't even mention John Gray, who, again, when he's right and when he's healthy, and he's never had arm issues, right? His injuries have always been something different, even though he has been hurt in some way or another every year here. But man, his stuff is just so electrifying.
Yeah, it really can be, and he's working to add more pitches to his repertoire, and then he wants to. I've seen him break off some curveballs, trying to just give something else to hitters to deal with, and Jack Leiter is throwing the two-seamer. He's trying out a different grip on his changeup. Cody Bradford, if you didn't see him on the weekly show last month, he said he's trying to throw a little. Kind of more of a cutter than a slider. He'd thrown a slider in the past. Just a fourth pitch again, it's just a different look. And if these guys can do that and command them, and maybe they only have to throw them 5 times a game. It just puts it in a hitter's head, and maybe gets an out, maybe gets a swing and a miss, gets you in an advantage count. Anything like that can help. So these guys are trying to get better. It's not just coming out with the same stuff. They know they have to adjust. They know that there's a big book on scouting reports on them and what they have to do to be successful. So mix it up a little bit, and don't be complacent with what you have. Always trying to get better.
Yeah, it's a great point, Jeff. These guys are allowed to get better every year, and plenty of them do. So we'll be anxious to see some of those improvements. That's the internal improvement that Bruce Bochy and Chris Jung have talked about, where they expect to get even better than last year as well. So more coming up as we clean this thing up. It's our batting cleanup segment coming next, and some fun stuff to talk about as we continue on the DLLS Rangers podcast. Hey, don't forget about those special St. Patty's Day shirts, though, that we have at store.allcitynetwork.com. These are fun, and it's a great day to celebrate. And you still got plenty of time to get your St. Patty's Day shirt. They're on the merchandise website now. They're ready to go. They're ready for you to make your order. I tell you this, it won't just be this St. Patty's Day that you wear these, because these are high-quality products. And so, you probably don't want to wear the St. Patty's Day shirt to the 4th of July party, right? You just wear it a couple of times in March. You tuck it away in the back of the closet or in your drawer, and you pull it back out next year on March the 17th. So be a little tradition for you. And that's if you don't spill too much green beer on it, although they're all green. So it's not like you're going to stain it. I love the idea of these St. Patrick's Day shirts as we celebrate the wearing of the green at store.allcitynetwork.com.
John, I have a confession. I've never had a green beer. I just prefer my beer gold. So
yeah, cold
or
green
dark.
beer is just like cold regular beer.
Except with some additives and
yeah.
All right, maybe I'll try one this year. Anyway, look, we talked about it in the first segment. We're going to talk about it again. We have a spring training special. All right, to become a DLS diehard. We're talking $48. Okay, that's $4 a month. $4 a month for the first year. You get the free T-shirt. You get 20% off of all of our events, and it's not just Ranger stuff that you get access to behind the paywall. It's every team we cover. So we covered the big four, and we're looking to cover some more. So I mean, it's just like feels like we're giving it away, John. Honestly, but that's how badly we want you in here. We want you to experience what we're doing and how good it is, and to be part of our. We got a fun Ranger season coming. We got some ideas floating around for some group events out at the ballpark. So become a diehard today at alldlls.com, or just use that little QR code that just disappeared on me.
Hey, and congratulations to the DLLS Rangers show, because we were responsible for the 17,000th subscription that this company and this little group has acquired. So the Mavs had gotten all the other milestones, but damn it, it's baseball season, Jeff. We're after the rest of these things. We got 6 months of milestones ahead of us.
Yeah. Our YouTube channel is growing exponentially, whatever. Yeah. Shit, I can't talk right now. But a lot of that has to do with the Mavs. Thank you for training Luca, at least from a subscriber perspective only. But we want you guys to read our stuff. I think our goal is to get 50 more this month. So if you guys are watching live right now and are not diehard members, come on, do it. Be one of the 50 before the end of February. We got 8 days to go, baby.
Yeah, we're ready for you. Okay, let's clean things up here. So first of all, Aaron Boone gets a 2-year contract extension. Jeff, this is probably not surprising. Took them to the World Series, ended the drought that the Yankees had from even making it to the World Series, and so he gets rewarded for that in the first week of spring training, and 2 years, it'll probably go beyond that. They're hedging their bet, I suppose, a little bit, but 2 more years, and that takes them through the 2027 season.
That's a pressure cooker of a job, as we all know. But in his first 8 seasons, I think he's been there 8, maybe 7. I think they've been first or second 6 times. His winning percentage is well over 500. It's a tough job. It's probably the toughest in baseball, and he does it well, and he wants to be there. That's the thing. I mean, all the crap that he takes, and for certain decisions or whatever, it's on a daily basis. It's not just an occasional thing. It's on a daily basis, or at least, I mean, even during wins, I think he gets questioned. So, good for him, and Godspeed, because that's a tough one.
It is, and it is interesting that you mentioned that because there's just so much media up there, and it's just sort of in the nature of the people in that area to sort of question everything. So every move he makes, like you say, even if he's successful, even if it works, every single move is second guessed and or questioned because those guys aren't afraid to ask that question, even if they know the answer or even if they know it's a dumb question.
Yeah, and that's just kind of the competitive nature there in that market, and um, I mean, we ask tough questions. They just don't get noticed, I mean, and because we don't harp on things, and we don't make splashy headlines like the New York Post does. So it is a different atmosphere, though. I was talking to Adrian Hauser, who played for the Mets last year. And, I was telling him how kept missing him in the clubhouse. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm usually in and out pretty quick." And I said, "Well, it's a little bit different here in New York." And he was like, "Oh my gosh, there's 20 or more reporters, and they just go in there and stand and wait for something." It's like, well, yeah, that's kind of the way it is. So, um, good for Aaron, and it's good for baseball because he's a funny
Yeah.
guy. He gets ejected a lot, isn't afraid to speak his mind to the umpires.
Yeah, and it's a great point too. I mean, anybody would want that job until they have it, right? And then you're
Yeah,
like, "Whoa, be careful what you wish for. This isn't as fun as I thought it might be." And Aaron Boone has embraced it, and obviously done a really good job too, getting them back to the World Series. And like Jeff said, winning first or second place in 6 of his years there. So good for him. The baseball starts today. I think it's 3 o'clock our time. And so in 8 minutes, the Cubs and Dodgers play. They're on a slightly different schedule than everybody else because of the game that they're going to play. And I checked the dates. It's the series is March 18th and 19th over there, Jeff, in
okay.
Japan. So they're gonna have to turn it around pretty quickly to get ready for what is not even essentially, it is their opening day. It just happens to be in Japan. And so this is a preview of that. And since we are getting so close to those dates, they're probably not going to show each other everything they got these times they play each other between now and March 18th.
Yeah, yeah. That's I saw a tweet from Bob Nightingale, who's already there, and the crowds have already swelled, and or huge crowd down there, and I think it's a Dodgers home game, so hopefully I don't run into any of that traffic on my way down Litchfield. But uh, it's interesting that when they come back, they still have time before the season
Right.
starts. So, they're taking some different approaches. I think the Dodgers are taking 3 days off when they get back, and they're just going to go straight to, I believe, they'll go quickly to LA and play the Angels in their exhibitions that they always play before the season. And I think the Cubs, though, are coming back and going to play some games before they go to wherever they open the season. I'm sure weather's a factor. I don't think it's real nice right now in Chicago, and it's probably not going to be much nicer at the end of March. So uh, that'll be interesting, though. And but yeah, they didn't really start a lot earlier than the Rangers and the other teams did. Their spring camp it is, and when they go there, and, the Dodgers did it last year going to Korea, so they have a little experience. They know that their starting pitchers aren't going to be totally dialed in, and aren't going to be able to go 8, 9 innings or 7 innings even. I think you'll see a lot of bullpen usage for those 2 games. They are both teams are playing some exhibitions while in Japan too.
Yeah. Yeah. So it'll be interesting. It's a Cactus League game. You can watch it on MLB Network today if you want to do that after you get done watching and checking out our show. I love this next story. Nestor Cortes, of course, is with the Milwaukee Brewers now. He's been traded a few times before in his career, and this is a man who knows how to sort of ingratiate himself to his new teammates. This is assimilating. Nestor Cortes has hired a coffee truck to come to the ballpark. It sits right there between where they park and where they enter the ballpark. And every day anybody can stop by and get whatever cup of coffee they want, Jeff. Anything from a cup of Joe to one of the really elaborate lattes that any number of these guys might like. And then, of course, at the end of the spring, Nestor will just pick up the bill for that. And yeah, man, that's a way to say, hey guys, welcome. I'm here.
Yeah, and what a nice little contract for the
Yeah.
the little the folks doing it out of the back of a truck. Hey, that's not a bad deal for them either. So hopefully it's a long-term arrangement for them. But that's pretty cool, And you don't hear a lot about teammates who sometimes do those things. You remember our good pal Shin-Soo Choo. They're I don't know, in the late 2010s. There'd be one day where you walk through the players a lot and somebody be out there with a grill, with, multiple grills, just, fire and flames everywhere. Shin-Soo Choo was paying for the minor leaguers to have like a deluxe lunch, so steaks and all kinds of stuff. And Choo did it multiple times. He would do it once every spring, and then of course this one did get some publicity. But Shin-Soo Choo, the year of the COVID and minor leaguers were out of work, he gave every minor leaguer in the Ranger system $1,000. It's things like that that ingratiate yourself to your teammates. It shows an appreciation. Chu is so appreciative of his time in the minor leagues because he came from Korea as an 18-year-old, couldn't speak the language, went straight to Mariners camp, and had some trouble assimilating. One of his best friends is Adam Jones, who was in the system at that time, in the Mariners system, and before they traded him away, and he helped Chu a lot, but Chu knows how hard it is for minor leaguers, and so he's always been giving back to them. But yeah, you'll see stuff like that happen a lot, and if you're here, you'll see it, or if you're at a ballpark. But a lot of times it doesn't get reported on. Now that's not a shot across the brow at Nestor Cortes. He might not have wanted it reported, but it is. But that shows you that these guys care about each other, and of course they have the resources and wherewithal to go ahead and rent out a coffee truck for 6 weeks.
Yeah, we're hearing you a little better, but I thought you said Abby Jones. I was going to say he's best friends with Abs. I'll be danged. But yeah, I misunderstood. And by the way, Rhonda weighs in. Thanks, Rhonda. So I guess what I saw, it's 3:00 Eastern time that the game started because it's in the third inning right now. It's the top of the third. Dodgers lead that one 3-1. We can count on our chat to keep us honest. And so nice to know, Rhonda. Thanks for letting us know that. They're playing baseball. The Cactus League is underway, and so we got to get one last thing in, Jeff, and that is the sort of pitching setup for tomorrow for the Rangers.
Yeah, Nathan Eovaldi is going to start. He's probably just going to pitch one inning. Dane Dunning is down to pitch 2, and then I forgot who all was in my tweet, but Jacob Latz, the left-hander, not Daniel Murphy, Patrick Murphy, who's an interesting guy who has caught the attention of some of the pitching coaches. Robbie Alstrom, he was on the weekly show last week, and there was another. Oh, Garrison Garabito, and there may be some pitchers. I'm sure there are some pitchers who are going to be available from minor league camp. There's a group of minor leaguers who reported early so that they could be extra players in the big league games before their camp starts.
Well, that's fantastic. We will look forward to that tomorrow. Game 1 of the Rangers portion of Cactus League play against the Kansas City Royals. They're their camp mate, if you will, there at Rangers Spring Training. Jeff, thanks for all your great work again. We appreciate you, and we appreciate each and every one of you, because without you, there's no us. We'll see you again tomorrow on the DLLS Rangers. Oh, hang on. Prophet wants us to go a little longer, Jeff. A little longer. So that doesn't mean what I was saying is insincere. We appreciate all of you chatting with us. We really appreciate you keeping us honest, because, sometimes it's going to happen. It's going to be.
God knows I need the help.
Yeah.
But I hope everybody liked Sebastian Walcott. He's come so far.
Yeah.
Since my first interview with him in just 2 years ago. He was 16, and you were fighting to get a sentence out of him. Now he's able to, he feels a little more comfortable. I'm sure that has a lot to do with it. But good kid, and look forward to years ahead of him. I saw Uncle Ted there in the chat, thinks he's a bust, couldn't even hit 800 OPS and high A ball. Well, Uncle Ted, look at the numbers after about May 15th. I think you may change your mind.
Yeah, I agree. And the kid, he was amazing to me. I mean, very poised, and like you said, I wasn't a part of that one 2 years ago. So it's not surprising that a 16-year-old kid surrounded by a bunch of guys that look like us asking him questions is like, whoa, what do I say here? But he was great, and I thought honest and fun. So anyway, we hope you enjoyed that. We did, and we'll continue to try and bring you guests like that throughout the course of this program and throughout the course of spring training. That's going to do it. Now we can go, Jeff. We appreciate you. We appreciate all of our chatters. We appreciate the Prophet, and we'll see you again tomorrow on the DLLS Rangers podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.